count here. Swung on and missed. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Ryan Byrd has struck out the side for the second straight inning. He is on fire. So here we go now. 1-2, and goodbye. Brad Morris goes down swinging. Seventh straight strikeout for the Birdman. It's a new look for both of the teams as well as new coaching helms. And the 1-2, Erickson goes chasing high and away. His third strikeout of the game and a perfect 10 for Ryan Byrd. 10 strikeouts in 4 innings pitched. Welcome back to another edition of the Bandits Hideout, episode number 10, featuring a former Bandit star pitcher from last summer, Ryan Byrd, who was the first player this past season to coin the term PCBL to pro. Ryan, thank you for joining me today, and welcome to the Hideout.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Sounds like a pretty fun podcast you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It's also nice to catch up with another former Bandit player. So, You were just about gearing up for another season in pro ball. What have you been up to since this whole coronavirus thing took over the globe?
You know, I have still been working at it pretty hard. I have a pretty good routine here in Spokane with my good buddy Wyatt Mills, who I've known since I was probably about in kindergarten, and he's with the Mariners organization, and He was down at Big League Camp. Yeah, he was down at Big League Camp right before everything got postponed and canceled. So now he and I are back just lifting and throwing five days a week now, 6 days.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad to see that you're still working at it, and hopefully your next season starts sooner than later. We'll touch on that in a little bit. One thing I like to do on this show is just kind of going over the careers of the guests. So let's just start from the beginning. So before you were a D1 pitcher for Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, you were pitching for the community colleges of Spokane. So what was it kind of like playing college baseball in your hometown?
It was pretty fun. It was a lot different in the fact that I knew that I had a family-based support system and solid friend support systems out there. And it was a great experience. The competition there has just been getting better every year. But, I mean, it was a great experience. Junior college baseball, I think a lot of people overlook it. And I think it's a great place for pitchers, as in myself. I wasn't quite fully developed and where I should have been to become a Division I pitcher right out of high school. And so I went to Spokane Falls, and there they helped develop me, and I'm now signed with an independent pro team. So it has its ups and it has its downs, but a whole lot more of ups than downs.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you at least enjoy starting off that next chapter of your career that close to home, like having that family support system like you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I come from a huge family, and so my parents were able to come to every single one of my home games.
Nice.
And I had some buddies that would come out and watch me pitch, and I had some cousins that would come out, and it was just great. You knew everyone, and it's a small school, so all the other athletes would come out and support you. And it was a great feel being that close to home, and if I ever needed my laundry done, or I was backed up on laundry, or I just would like a home cooked meal, my parents' house, and mainly my mom, she was only about 20 minutes away, so that was nice.
Awesome. You can't really beat that, man. And you for sure played great there. Your sophomore numbers were very impressive. A 3.6 ERA. You struck out 63 batters in 44 innings pitched. And it was those numbers and that work ethic that earned you a spot next at the Division I level at Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. So how were you kind of recruited to head out east and join the Cougars team?
Well, you know, I was originally committed to Creighton University.
Oh, wow.
And, yep. And I had signed a scholarship there, and right about June 16th, I got a call from the athletic director or the athletic head person that handles all of the academic sides for the athletics. And they had to inform me that since they were a private Jesuit college, that their school needed 128 credit hours to graduate, not 120. And with the transfer rules, I had to be at a certain percentage of my degree to be eligible. And with them being at 128 hours, I wasn't eligible and I would have had to redshirt. So they asked me what I would like to do, and I said, I just want to play. I don't want a redshirt. So they helped get my name out there, and I had a few more schools other than Southern Illinois, Edwardsville contact me, but Southern Illinois seemed like the best fit and financially the best opportunity. And they saw me playing in the Northwoods League, and that's when they decided to help me out and give me a shot.
Well, very good, man. And you eventually wanted to become one of the top pitchers on the team. You were a consistent strikeout guy for the Cougars. How would you describe your time at Edwardsville pitching for them?
It was great. I really appreciated the coaches. The coaches were, even though, like you see at all colleges and stuff, there are times where they're coaches and the players butt heads, but every time you go back to it and the coaches are right. They know they have a plan. They know what they're doing. Sometimes you can't see it as a player, but looking back, I was able to reflect and realize that they had a good plan and they knew what they were talking about. Plus, the friends that I made going to Southern Illinois, they are lifelong. Like I've already been invited to a wedding to be in a wedding with one of my buddies.
Nice.
So that's and just the relationships that I built with those people. Those were great as well.
Well, that's great, man. That sounds like you had really good relationships there, and obviously time well spent at a D1 level. And eventually you came over to Bancroft last summer, but it wasn't your first time on a summer league ball club. As you mentioned before coming to Bancroft, you spent a summer in the Northwoods League playing for the Bismarck Larks. So, what was it like playing at another highly competitive level in the Northwoods League?
That was my first. The Bismarck Larks were my first year in the Northwoods, and that jump from junior college baseball to Northwoods League baseball, where you see predominantly Power 5 batters and some very, very talented mid-major and D2, D3, and NAIA schools players, you can't tell the difference between those players up there hardly at all. I realized quickly that if you miss a pitch, you're going to get punished for it. And that really helped me realize and helped me learn like what it means to have a plan when you pitch and what it means to attack a batter in certain situations, what pitches are able to get you over pitches and stuff like that. Like the competition was a lot better, but it helped prepare me a lot for what I'm doing now.
Very good. All right, so then tell me this then, Ryan. You played at the D1 level and then eventually pitched in the Northwoods League. So you kind of dabbled a little bit about this, but just go in a little more, playing at such a high competition level in your collegiate career. Do you think that helped you better your game to get where you are now?
Yes, it definitely helped. You don't even only get to face good batters, but the pitchers that I was with, they were phenomenal, and we all helped each other. We all helped each other improve on our game because there is 12 of us pitchers per team and only one coach, and so at times the coach would be working one-on-one with a pitcher, and so you would rely on your teammates, and that I think was a big help because sometimes not saying coaches can't tell you what to do, but sometimes players your own age are able to relay the same information in a different way that's able for you to understand it a little bit better and for it to click. And so I found that very helpful, that just the willingness of other teammates putting their egos aside and just willing to help each other just get better and just realize that we all have the same goal and we want nothing more than to see each other succeed.
Awesome, man. And obviously from from watching you pitch last summer, you definitely did more than hold your own. In fact, you were you're probably going to go on to be one of the most dominant in the league just from the couple appearances we got to see you. But now let's talk about last summer. So how did you kind of hear about the Bancroft Bandits in the Pioneer League?
Well, it was about early February of my senior season, and Coach Kiernan reached out to me, and he asked me if I was planning to play anywhere, if I had any opportunities. And at the time, I was hoping to get picked up or signed. And so I told him I appreciate his offer and all that, but I was hoping to get signed. And I asked him, I said, if that doesn't work out, would you be okay with me maybe reaching out to you again later in the summer? And if you had a spot for me, if it would be okay. And sure enough, later in the spring, I didn't have anything going. So I called up Coach, and he was more than happy to get me. And that was the first time I heard of the Pioneer League or the PCL.
All right. So then what kind of sold you on coming out to Bancroft in, small town northern Iowa?
Sold me was, honestly, I just wanted to play. And then once I started talking to Coach and stuff, I don't know why, but I just instantly felt that he cared, and that he cared to put his players' best interests before his own, and that his goal was to improve the players and get them to where they wanted to go. And I really appreciated that, and I was on board. And as soon as I got there, my roommate, Niall Ball, him and I just instantly became friends, and him and I, we just worked together, and we just had a great time, and coaches made it fun, and it was a great time. If I had more eligibility, I would go back there every summer.
Fantastic, man. That's great to hear. And obviously you didn't have the longest tenure in 2019, but for good reason. And your appearance in the season opener really showed us what you were made of. It was against Albert Lee on the road. And you had 10 strikeouts in 4 innings of relief pitching, and you earned Player of the Game honors. So that's 10 of the 12 outs recorded by strikeout. So do you kind of remember that game at all?
I do a little bit. I would have to say that's probably my most dominant out of the pen performance I've ever had in my life.
So do you kind of remember your mindset during that game and just kind of how you were able to attack the batter so well?
Yeah, my mindset going into that game was, all right, well, all of us players have just come off a full college season, and we're mid-season form. We're all ready to go. There's no messing around at all. You can't cupcake. You can't put a cupcake up there and expect good results. So on pitch 1, I was thinking, all right, you just gotta hit your spots. You need to be focused at all times, and you just can't let your emotions get the best of you. You can never let there be too big of ups or too big of downs. You just gotta keep a level head on your shoulders.
Well, very good, man. And dabble a little bit more into that for me, if you would. Like, just tell me about your mental approach to the game. Just every time, whenever you step on the mound, how do you maintain your composure when you pitch?
It probably all started with my freshman high school coach. Well, both of my coaches, they were very, very big into so what and next pitch attitude. Because when I was in high school, I was a little bit wild. And so I would walk people, and I would get down on myself, and they taught me and engraved into my brain, like, hey, that stuff happens. You just can't let it affect your next pitch or the next batter you face. If you give up a home run, that's going to happen. You just got to get right back on the mound and just believe that your stuff is good enough to get this batter out, and just have confidence. And so I've tried to carry that with me as long as I go, and try not to let the emotions get the best of me. It's what I've been taught is someone's watching the game and the scoreboard's off. They shouldn't know based on the pitcher's demeanor if they're winning or losing.
Awesome. Very good, man. Well, Ryan, on top of that, one of the things I found most impressive about your game was just how much your pitches moved. Like, the junk was very good, and you also had a lot of nice velo on top of it. Can you kind of just tell me about the pitches you throw?
Yeah, I throw a 4-seam fastball. I throw a two-seam fastball that I learned that I can that it sinks a little bit as well as moves away from a right-handed batter, which I found very helpful in my arsenal. That that I learned and developed. And then I have a changeup that I've been working on. That's probably not my top pitch, but it's one that I've been working on here on the off season quite a bit with my buddy. And then I have my slider that I would really like to throw to mainly lefties, but every now and then I can get a righty that's crowding the plate that I could try to drop that in there on the back foot.
All right, very good, man. And it was always pretty cool to see do the bullpen work, and obviously that Albert League game I'll never forget. And as I mentioned earlier, you were the first player from this last season to go from the PCBL to a professional league, and you went all the way to Belgium to play for the Mont Se-Guibert Wembly Magpies. Sorry if I kind of butchered that, and the Brisbane Demons. So that just had to be the coolest thing to play professional baseball internationally. Can you just kind of tell me how you found out about the league?
Yeah, I heard of this website called Baseball Jobs Overseas, and I just created a little profile of myself and some of my stats, and soon enough, I got a call asking if I would be interested in playing for that international pro team, and I jumped on it, and I was like, heck yeah, I'll do that. Why not? And so that's how I heard of them, and the experience in Belgium was phenomenal, as was the one in Australia.
So how did kind of the rest of the season go overseas?
It went very well. It went well enough that I got an independent league team in the Frontier League to sign me. So it went pretty well for me, and the competition there was, and the competition in Australia was a little bit stronger than it was in Belgium, but not knocking any of the competition, because in Belgium I ran into a few pitchers and there was a hitter there that was all the way up. I think he was with the Marlins. Wow. And he was one of the best hitters I've seen, and he was a tough one to face. And there were some pitchers that would run it up to 95, 96 over there in Belgium. Wow. And so that was good. But in Australia, man, those batters, they sure know how to hit a fastball, and a lot of them were minor league guys that I would face that were just there for the off season and for the winter to stay in shape. That their organizations wanted them to go and get more innings and more at bats.
Well, very cool, man. That just sounds like that just got to be one of the coolest experiences to actually play with some of those big leaguers, and who knows that they would all wind up over in Australia with you as well. And hopefully after this pandemic hopefully ends, you'll be suiting up this summer for the Quebec Capitals in the Frontier League, like you were talking about. So that's very exciting stuff to play for a club. They've been around for over 20 years. How did you end up with the Capitals?
Another website that I heard was this little website called Meet a Prospect on Facebook. And one of my buddies told me just to check it out. And so I was checking it out, and I decided to post another little updated stats and some video of me throwing. And then the Quebec Capitals reached out to me, and I guess they talked to some coaches of mine from the States, and they offered me a spot to come play for them this summer. And I was just instantly said yes. And I've just been working towards that since then.
Well, very good, man, Ryan. That's very exciting. I'm very excited for you, and hoping you get back out of the mound sooner than later. But since you still got some time until then, as you mentioned at the beginning of this, what does kind of the rest of the spring hold for you? And when are you kind of hoping that the season is at least scheduled as of now to start?
The season in the Frontier League is scheduled to start is at an unknown date right now. They don't know 100% where they're gonna go with this, but I think they're going off of what the MLB is doing, and so we're just playing the waiting game. But I'm just staying diligent with my buddy, and we're throwing today actually here in a little bit, and then we're gonna go get our lift in, and we're just gonna continue to get our work. We got a catcher from Gonzaga that's still in town that that will catch our bullpens, and we got a few hitters around the area that are minor league players that will come in and take some at bats against us. So it's going, and we're just itching to get back on the diamond and start playing again.
Well, that sounds awesome, man. Glad that you're staying on the grind, and glad that you have such a great training system there too. Before I let you go, do you have any advice for any young ball players, just trying to get to that next professional level of baseball like you were able to?
My advice would just be, if you believe that you're good enough, don't take no for an answer. Just keep working until you've exhausted yourself, and until you think that you put all your effort and until you've put all your effort in, and you've truly given it your all. You can't take no for an answer.
Well, fantastic, man. This has been episode number 10 of the Bandits Hideout. Today's guest was Bancroft pitcher and current pitcher for the Quebec Capitals in the Frontier League. This was Ryan Byrd. Ryan, thank you for talking to me today, and best of luck in the next chapter of your career.
Thank you too, Mitchell. I really appreciate you having me on.
And a big thank you for listening to episode number 10 of the official podcast of your defending champion, Bancroft Bandits. We're still going to be hopeful that this season's going to get underway. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a very passionate ball club this summer, as well as on top of the talent level. And I'm hoping it's going to be another special summer of baseball. Until next time, this is your play-by-play commentator and overall media guy for Bancroft Bandits, Mitch Kieran. And until the next Hideout, go Bandits.